Hi, welcome back. Episode 7 at the stove with Audrey Grove. And I'm Audrey. So glad that you came to see me today in my kitchen. We're going to be making Jamaican sweet potato pudding. And I'll be honest, this is my first time making it. I have had it at someone else's house and it was delicious. So I thought, let's go for something different for this episode and we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get cooking. So I've been prepping before we started our video, and I got out my food processor and I used it to grate the sweet potatoes. So I'm just going to take off the grater and I'm going to take my sweet potatoes and I'm going to put them in my large mixing bowl with 1 cup of brown sugar. Made a lot of grated sweet potatoes. All right. So I'm just gonna toss that. And then I'm gonna start adding some other ingredients. This is a super easy recipe, which was another reason that I picked it, besides that it was so delicious. Just really easy to throw together. The only ingredient that I didn't have, that I did have to go buy, was coconut milk. So this recipe calls for a can of coconut milk, 2 pounds of sweet potatoes. They recommend if you use a certain kind of sweet potato that I had never heard of, and when I went to the market, they said they don't carry them, so I'm using American sweet potatoes. Okay, so now the sugar is mixed in pretty well. We're gonna take our coconut milk. Gonna wash off the top. I don't know if any of you are familiar with cooking with coconut milk. I haven't done a lot of it, so but I know that a lot of Jamaican recipes have coconut milk in them. So when you open it up, there's a layer of like coconut cream. So we're gonna take that off. See if and then we'll see. Oh, yeah. And then there's coconut milk underneath. So I'm gonna put that whole thing in. Okay, I thought this would be a really nice summer dish with the coconut. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out and if you wanna try it yourself. As always, I will make sure that Carrie Hatch has the recipe in case you want to try it. So we'll mix in the coconut milk and then we're going to take our spices. So I already made a spice blend. This is cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, and ginger. The recipe called for fresh grated ginger, but I didn't have that, so I'm using powdered ginger. So I'm just going to add this in. And the nutmeg and the cinnamon smell delicious. Really gives it a really nice scent. And then I'm going to take 2 cups of flour and mix that in. Oh, you know what? Before I mix the flour in, I'm gonna put in our vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna just check on my phone, which is where I have the recipe, just to make sure about the vanilla. Let's see. Yep, 1 teaspoon. Good. I love how vanilla adds such a nice flavor to anything that you're cooking or baking. So I'm not quite sure what this recipe qualifies as, a side dish, a dessert. I think it can be either. You can serve it with whipped cream if you're gonna make it as a dessert, or you could serve it as a side dish, like with chicken or turkey. Okay, so this is all mixed, and now I'm gonna slowly start adding my 2 cups of flour. By the way, if you don't have a food processor, of course you could use a regular grater. Just make sure that it's the small side of it, and make sure of your fingers. I have grated a few knuckles in my time, which is why I prefer the food processor. So, just mixing this up until the flour is completely absorbed into the mixture. I already have my oven preheated, and I have I'm making this in a pie plate. It says make it in a 9-inch cake pan, and unfortunately I can't find my 9-inch cake pan, so I'm going with this pie plate, which was my mom's. So it always makes me happy to be able to use something that's really meaningful. Okay, so here's this mushy mixture. Got that, cameraman? Good. And then we're gonna pour it into the pie plate. Just gonna scrape off some of this. And then put a little bit more in. I'm gonna bake this at 375 for 45 minutes. Gonna take it out, and then we're gonna make a topping for it, and then bake it for another 45 minutes. Okay, so here's our beautiful sweet potato pudding pie. Got that? I don't want to tilt it because it'll come right out of the pie plate. I'm going to bake it on this baking sheet just so it doesn't spill all over my oven. And we're going to put it in. We'll check back with you in 45 minutes. Hey, we're back. We've just taken out our sweet potato pudding from the oven after baking for 45 minutes. So I'll put my gloves on and bring it over closer so you can get a look at it. Looks delicious. Smells really good. Okay, so now we're gonna make what they're calling a custard-like topping. So we're gonna use a 1/2 cup of coconut milk. So I've got some unsweetened coconut milk. And it's gonna go into my small bowl. And then I'm gonna put a tablespoon of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So let me put it to 1/4. My whole house smells really fragrant right now with the cinnamon and the nutmeg, the vanilla, and the coconut. And then it says a pinch of cinnamon. So I'm gonna take a pinch of cinnamon. And I'm gonna mix it together. Ooh, it's making a lot of noise. And we are going to pour it over the top of the pie. Well, I'm calling it pie, it's whatever we want to call it. It says for you to pour over evenly so that it covers everything. So I'm just doing that. Get out all that delicious custard-like topping. All right, and I'm gonna just kind of spread it, so make sure it goes all over the top. I don't know, cameraman, can you get a picture of that? Ta-da! I can come a little closer. Here we go. Okay. And we're gonna put it in the oven and we're gonna bake it for another 45 minutes. You didn't realize this was going to be an all-day thing, huh? All right, nice and easy. I put it in that baking sheet for a reason. I didn't want anything spilling over into my oven. I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes. And we will be back when it's done. Hi, we're back. The sweet potato pudding is out of the oven. Wanted to show it to you. I'm being the cameraman because my cameraman is busy doing some work. But we'll be back when this is cooled off and we'll try it together. Thanks. Hi, we're back with the finished product. So here's our Jamaican sweet potato pudding. And I did take it out of the oven. I let it cool for about, there's the timer, it's ready. I let it cool for about 30 minutes, maybe a little more. And then I put it in the fridge for 30 minutes because you're not supposed to cut it when it's super hot. It'll just fall apart. So let's see, let's try to get a little slice and see what we have. Okay, so it's still soft. So it really just depends on, once you make it, to decide how you like it. If you like it to be thicker and firmer, then put it in the refrigerator for a few hours and then have it. Or if you like it a little softer and a little bit warm. So this is still a little bit warm, and here we go. Oh my gosh. It's delicious. It is really, really good. I have to take another. First time cooking with coconut milk. I'm not disappointed. It's really good. You can make this if you are gluten-free. You can make this with gluten-free flour. This particular recipe has no dairy or eggs. So if you have any of those allergies, this is perfect. You can go see Carrie and she'll give you a copy of the recipe. I hope that you've enjoyed making this and our time together. I just want to say that I'm thinking about you. I hope that you're well, and remember to keep the faith and get cooking.